Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Olajide Bello. Remember, you can watch this broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. President Bola Tinubu strongly condemns the bomb attack which resulted in the loss of precious lives and the maiming of other citizens in Gwoza local government area, Borno State. President Tinubu describes the attack as a desperate act of terror and a clear manifestation of the pressure mounted against terrorists and the success achieved in degrading their capacity to launch offensives. The president declares that the purveyors of wanton violence shall have a certain encounter with justice and that these cowardly attacks are only but an isolated episode, as his government will not allow the nation to slither into an era of fear, tears, sorrow and blood. The president states that his administration is taking necessary measures to secure citizens, emphasizing that efforts will be redoubled to ensure that those who trouble the nation, dispatching precious lives and disrupting law and order, are completely removed. President Tinubu condoles with the victims of the attack, the families of the deceased, as well as the government and people of Borno State. And meanwhile, the United States condemns what it describes as horrific attacks that took place in Gwoza, Borno State. The U.S. mission in Nigeria, in a statement, says the reprehensible acts of violence shows a cruel and heartless disregard for human life. These aberrant attacks serve as a stark reminder of the ongoing threats posed by terrorism in the region. The U.S. diplomatic mission in Nigeria is committed to strengthening partnership with Nigeria as it works to defeat terrorism and bring the perpetrators of these heinous acts to justice. Optimizing force structure and establishment for enhanced operational effectiveness is one of the key performance drivers of the Nigerian Air Force under the 22nd Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar. The Nigerian Air Force is now 60 years strong and the Air Chief a year in office. How has the NAF performed in the past 1 year under the performance driver? Defense correspondent Najatu Tijani reports.
Marking years of successful strikes against insurgency and terrorism in the cockpit, pilots are locked and loaded, delivering justice to the enemy's doorstep. Air power on full display. The NAF's JF-17 Thunder and A-29 Super Tucano jets are raining down precision-guided munitions, taking out high-value targets with surgical accuracy. But it's not just about the hardware, nor is it about the NAF turning 60 and marking its Diamond Jubilee with fanfare, an air show, Conference of Air Chiefs, research and development competition showcasing innovations from across its units, and the prestigious Air Force Institute of Technology, AFIT.
So from a very basic beginning, where we were just a tactical Air Force, just designed to support the operations of surface forces, to what we have today is a strategic Air Force, or an Air Force that is capable of carrying out strategic operations whenever required. So there has been a lot of transformation. When I assumed the mantle of leadership as the 22nd Chief of the Air Staff, the first thing we tried to do was to carry out a very detailed and thorough environmental scan. So as a result of this environmental scan, I came up with what I call my command philosophy, which is to transform the Nigerian Air Force.
transforming the Nigerian Air Force into an agile and resilient force capable of meeting the air power needs of the nation. In the past year, the NAF has achieved increase in operational efficiency, a 30% reduction in aircraft downtime, and a 40% boost in aircrew training, transforming the Nigerian Air Force into an agile and resilient force capable of meeting the air power needs of the nation. As the saying goes in the Nigerian Air Force, semper addendum, semper vigilans, always adapting, always vigilant, always willing, able and ready. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
And an improved regional hygiene, an integrated water resource management strategy to enhance shared vision on water, health and sanitation among ECOWAS member states has been validated in Abuja. At the 5th ordinary session of the Ministerial Monitoring Committee of Water Ministers, Nigeria's Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Youssef, expressed confidence that the country's water resource management system can be a template for the sub-region. Kelvin Eonwaye reports.
Follow-up to the recent 11th ordinary session of the Technical Advisory Committee, which addressed critical issues for promoting integrated water resource management in West Africa. The document adopted at this forum outlines strategies for provision of clean water for rural communities, with specific projects to be jointly funded by development partners. But Nigeria's Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation seeks a system that will make implementation seamless because access to water has direct implication for health and sanitation efforts.
To truly see growth in the sub-region, we need to be united and work as a team, especially when it comes to the management of our water resources, both surface and underground.
Have a text on the establishment of a West African Water Resource Fund or facility to be located in the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development (EBID).
With a time frame for the activation of the integrated water management strategy, the body of water ministers in the sub-region are to meet subsequently to evaluate its impact. In Abuja, Kelvin Eonwaye, NTA News.
Completing the Obstetrics Fistula Center at the Federal Medical Center in Nguru in Yobe State will serve as a major breakthrough for patients in the northeast and even neighboring Niger Republic, as grim statistics has shown that Nigeria recorded 13,000 cases of obstetrics fistula annually, mostly affecting women in northern Nigeria. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
The Federal Medical Center grew at the far northern part of Yobe State is strategic, considering that about 9 out of the 70 local government areas of the state are located in that axis. Establishing the Obstetrics and Fistula Center in the facility will go a long way in providing healthcare services to VBF patients along the northern corridor of Yobe, Jigawa and Borno states who find it hard to do so due to financial constraints.
We know the problem of VVF and we know the magnitude of VVF in this part of the region, and a lot of these women are suffering. If we have this center revived, completed and equipped, we have the needed manpower. I seated here is a trained fistula surgeon, and we can be able to handle these patients in this center and rehabilitate them.
This entourage of the House of Representatives Committee on Tertiary Health Institutions on oversight visit to the medical center was in agreement with authorities of the institution on the urgent need for the federal government to complete the construction of the facility for use by the targeted beneficiaries.
Strategically located, we are interested in making sure that people from other countries run to Nigeria to benefit from health services that we can offer. And of course, even the people in this place.
The delegation was convinced on the need to ensure more funding for the health institution in order to accommodate the increasing number of patients coming for treatment. In the Matru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
And to the Lagos-Calabar coastline, all contractors handling the East-West Road and the Calabar-Etu Highway will have their contracts terminated by July the 5th if they fail to mobilize to sites. Minister of Works David Umahi handed down the warning at the stakeholders' engagement on the alignment of Section 3B and 4 of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Superhighway. Clement Barikwi has details.
Kilometers of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, 107 kilometers covering sections 3B and 4 are in Akwa Ibom State, and once procurements are completed, work will commence simultaneously on all the subsections. Minister of Works Senator Wednesday David Umahi, while briefing the stakeholders on other federal projects in Akwa Ibom State, says termination notice has been issued to contractors handling a section of the East-West Road as well as the Calabar-Etu Highway for not returning to site despite the huge payment from the federal government.
Every contractor that wants to continue the games as before, we're going to terminate the project and we're going to reward it. And we are going to do everything to encourage local contractors. We will support them to build them so that they can compete with the expatriate contractors. But no more games.
Senate President Gasula Akpabio, who led other National Assembly members from the region, appreciates President Bola Tinubu for his passion towards the completion of the 3 renewed Hope Road Infrastructure Legacy projects.
God has made the federal government to remember us. Through President Bola Tinubu, I came to make a special appeal that there is need to give total cooperation to the construction companies that will handle these sections of the coastal roads. We need peace to complete the job on time.
That will cooperate with you at any time and in whichever way you want so that we can actualize the vision of Mr. President on this coastal road.
The Minister of Works thereafter made a stopover at the Calabar-Etu Highway, where he expressed disappointment over the attitude of the contractors in making the road motorable, directing an immediate remedial measure to salvage the situation. Clement Barikui, NTA News.
National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission and HYPADEC is advocating redredging of rivers Niger and Benue to contain the incessant cases of flood disasters in the communities affected by operations of hydroelectric dams in the country. Managing Director of the Commission, Abubakar Sadiq Yelwa, said this while on inspection to our ongoing resettlement housing scheme project at New Muregi, a community in Mokwa local government area of Niger State. Fatima Aliu reports.
The 120 units of 2 bedrooms of NIPADEC resettlement housing scheme in Muregi, Mokwa local government area of Niger State is part of the federal government's commitment to relocate flood-prone communities to upland to contain the incessant cases of flood disaster and its attendant consequences. The housing project awarded last year is expected to be completed in the next 2 months, with both the state and local government to allocate housing units to beneficiaries.
The present administration of Ahmed Tinubu and the state government and the local government, we are jointly concerned in improving the life of the communities and also in ensuring that the previous challenges they had during flooding is not witnessed any longer.
So far we are satisfied. Quality of work, standard, honestly we are satisfied.
With the prediction of imminent flooding by NIMET in some flashpoint areas, NIPADEC says it is intensifying sensitization and intervention to reduce its impact and that of other ecological degradation problems that may rear its ugly head in all NIPADEC communities. Fatima Aliu, NTA News.
In line with the paradigm shift in infrastructure development as a critical component of the renewed hope agenda, the federal government, through the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has taken measures to reduce high rates of accidents and carnage on the roads across the country. Bilkisu Gurku reports that this time the proactive maintenance work is along the Akwanga and Daha Kaduna Road in Nasarawa State.
Road is one of the most critical factors that facilitate economic development through movement of goods and services. Therefore, the establishment of Federal Road Maintenance Agency (FEMA) to monitor and maintain all federal roads across the country is a deliberate effort to ameliorate the hardship and delays faced by road users in Nigeria. This leads to the commencement of filling of all potholes and attend to areas of road failures on the 32 kilometers Akwanga and Daha Kaduna state border route in Nasarawa State along Kwanje community, who are predominantly farmers.
As for now, before I reach those, maybe 3.5 hours, if I run 3 hours.
I'm appreciated with what they did for us. 2 months ago, in fact, this road is not motorable. Very, very bad.
The Federal Road Maintenance Engineer, Nasarawa State Aliyu Muhammad, says the action is as a result of aging and overloading being experienced in many parts of the country, which resulted in cutting off of some roads.
This maintenance activity, as it is, it will enhance safety, reduce travel time.
The work is expected to be completed within the week. In Lafia, Bilkisu Umar Gurku, NTA News.
Now let's join Asma'u from Sokoto for more on Nationwide. Asma'u, good to see you.
To Olajide, good evening and welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. In an effort to address the surge in drug abuse among young people that often begins within the peer groups and schools, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA Kebbi State Command, is sensitizing students at different levels of education in the state. Jafar Yusuf Ilo reports that the lecture highlighted dangers of drug abuse on the users and socio-economic development of the country.
The aim of the lecture was to inform the student about the dangers associated with drugs and substance abuse. Some of the students who attended the lecture shared their thoughts on the impact of the event.
The lecture I attended means that drug abuse have many effects and consequences. Consequences of drug abuse, for example, it leads to some mental disorder, like some psychological effects.
I learned that drug abuse have many effects on human being because it leads to broken homes.
The state commandant of the NDLEA in Kebbi State, Osmosile, emphasized that fighting the menace of drug abuse is a collective responsibility that requires involvement of parents, government, and relevant stakeholders.
And particularly parents have a vital role to play. And that is why we always encourage them to seek for knowledge about drug abuse. What are the substances of abuse that youth normally take? And then how do you even identify that a child has started taking drugs? So they should equip themselves with the signs and symptoms of drug abuse for purposes of early detection.
Use, abuse, and they will abuse drugs. Some drink alcohol to kill the depression in their mind. But however, that is a maladaptive way of handling things. Otherwise, it will cause more problem if people, do that kind of a thing.
Dr. Bayoko added that drug abuse can lead to increased strain on the liver, putting the person at risk of significant liver damage or liver failure. In Burunikebi, Jafar Yusufilo, NTA News.
Stakeholders are strongly advocating consultation of medical experts on issues relating to child spacing and reproductive health to reduce rate of misconceptions surrounding it towards a healthy family. This came to the limelight at a free medical outreach and enlightenment campaign on family planning services at Mariam Abacha Hospital, Sokoto, organized by Sokoto State Government in conjunction with a non-governmental organization. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports.
The medical outreach targeting more than 500 women is part of efforts by the state government and partners to facilitate access to free family healthcare services to families of low-income communities and furnish them with the proper enlightenment on the importance of adopting child-spacing habit. The desire for access to information on family planning prompted Sokoto State Government to come up with measures including partnership with the DKT International and other stakeholders.
The state Ministry of Health has been very, very cooperative. They've worked hand in hand with us to set up this outreach. And we are glad at the outcome so far. A lot of women, as you can see, are on ground.
While commending Sokoto State Government and the partners, speakers acknowledged that child spacing is crucial to the well-being of mothers, children, and families with far-reaching benefits for individuals, communities, and societies.
The state government is collaborating with all the partners that are working in state to ensure they provide the primary essential services to our citizens.
So I am sure it is for the good of the people. The child will have enough time to grow, breastfeed well. The mother will have enough time to rest.
About 500 men and women are also expected to receive similar treatment on the second day of the medical outreach. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
And that's it from here. We'll take a short break and Nationwide continues thereafter.
Thanks for being there. To unlock the potential of housing development and create jobs as well as boost economic development is one of the objectives of the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Ngozi Monkwede reports that this played out at the groundbreaking ceremony of 250 housing units in Epan Ovie local government area of Delta State.
The Minister for Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, and Minister of State, Abdullahi Gwoza, are here for the 1.2 and 3 semi-detachable bungalows to 250 households. The housing unit is for the low, middle income and high income earners. This, the President believes, will reduce the housing deficit in the country.
With this program, Your Excellency, we plan to unlock the massive potential of housing development to create jobs and lift lives and boost economic development. This is in line with the Renewed Hope agenda of Mr. President to stimulate inclusive growth, lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty, and build a $1 trillion economy.
Governor Sheriff Oboriwori, represented by his deputy, Monde Onyeme, stated that statistics as at 2023 housing deficit in the country stood at 28 million units. With this in mind, efforts to provide more houses for Nigerians should be encouraged.
In support of this, the Delta State government has provided 25 hectares with certificate of occupancy in favor of the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development.
Delta State is among the 13 states to benefit from the Renewed Hope Estate. In Asaba, Ngozi Mokwede, NTA News.
133 widows and junior police officers' wives have been empowered with income-enabling equipment to enable them start up businesses that will improve their standard of living. Fortunate also reports that wife of Inspector General of Police, Elizabeth Egbetokun, handed over the equipment to the beneficiaries during the commemoration of this year's Police Women Association Week in Abakaliki.
Gathered here are wives and widows of police officers who lost their lives in the line of duty. They have been brought together not just to commemorate this year's Police Women Associations Week, but also to be given a pat on the back for their dedication in making the home front comfortable.
I'm very, very happy. I just thank God who did it. Oh, they gave me abada. And as a teacher, I'm a farmer too. I will using the abada to fry garri instead of me to go and borrow from people. I'm happy to have this type of a gift.
Wife of the Inspector General of Police and National President of Police Women Association, Dr. Elizabeth Egbetokun, and Commissioner of Police Ebonyi State Command, Augustina Ugbodo, said it is expected that they will leverage on the empowerment materials to achieve self-sufficiency.
We honor the memory of our fallen heroes by ensuring that their families are not left behind. This program is designed to empower the beneficiaries with practical skills, knowledge, and the confidence to pursue their dreams and contribute positively to the society.
It is my strong belief that this empowerment program will impact positively, significantly in the lives of the beneficiary.
On arrival, the wife of the Inspector General of Police had inspected a quarter guard mounted in her honor. In Abakaliki, Fortunate Ozo, NTA News.
Access to essential services such as education, health and nutrition remains key to achieving human capital development, thereby achieving economic stability. This resonated at the third edition of the Social Protection Cross-Learning Summit, SPECS, in Abuja, where Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says $1.2 billion have been outlined for direct transfer to help meet basic needs of Nigerians. Zinret Dingmu has the details.
Convened by the Ministry of Finance in partnership with the Social Protection Development Group, this third edition affords key players a platform to deliberate on effective social protection delivery with focus on critical areas of increasing coverage, improving coordination, and ensuring adequate financing of social protection systems.
And we do have programs that have been well designed, well targeted, but we need and we have to keep ramping up the capacity and the ability to deliver what is resourced and what is promised at sufficient speed.
Our investments have been directed towards developing robust policy and legal frameworks, designing and implementing effective cash transfers and social insurance programs.
We know that the system might be imperfect as we speak. We know that the system might require improvement. We know that the registration might require expansion to what is called NIM. But the risk of moving to speed and to scale overweight the kind of challenge that we can have.
It's not easy to find the right solution, the right way to deliver. It's not easy to find the resources, and this is really very hard conversation that we need to have.
If we can collectively get the system up and running right now, is that can evolve into a ready vehicle for the long haul.
SPECS 2024 with the theme Social Protection Towards Human Capital Development seeks to use the concept of skill and speed for effective implementation. In Abuja, Zenret Dingmun, NTA News.
Safeguarding government's critical infrastructure and assets, especially oil pipelines, is a collective responsibility. Hence, the sustained call on all producing communities to support security operatives in guarding against oil theft in their domain. The commander of Nigerian Navy ship, Soro Commander Nanman Lakan, made the call after a successful operation that led the recovery of 12,000 liters of illegally refined AGO at Okaki waterside in Ahuada West local government area of Rivers State. Dainikume Ulolo reports.
The fight against illegally refined petroleum products in the Niger Delta region of the country by the Nigerian Navy ship Soro is yielding positive result. The latest is the arrest of a wooden boat loaded with 12,000 liters of illegally refined AGO that was conveying products from Ogboglo community in Ahuada West local government area to Okaki waterside. Was intercepted by the Nigerian Navy ship Soro Operation Patrol Team along the waterways with 2 suspects on board. The commander, Nigerian Navy ship Soro, Commander Nama Lakan, said the arrest was made possible due to credible intelligence.
So immediately we dispatched our team and they made this arrest with 2 suspects. The quantity there was estimated to be around 12,000 liters of illegally refined AGO. With this arrest, I still implore the perpetrators of this crime to desist from it. They should look for a better way of livelihood.
The commander said the suspects and the products will be handed over to appropriate agency for further investigation.
From all indication, the Nigerian Navy ship Soro is determined to ensure that illegal refinery and crude oil theft is checked from Okaki River in Ahuada West local government area of Rivers State. Dainikume Ulolo, NTA News.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, intercept 7.3 billion naira codeine consignment as 2 persons excrete 150 cocaine wraps in Lagos. Salwa Khalil brings us weekly update.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have intercepted 6 containers of 6,125 cartons of codeine worth more than 7 billion naira in street value at the Port Harcourt complex, One, Rivers State. This is the third of such seizure in the past 4 weeks. Meanwhile, NDLEA officers at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, have arrested 2 passengers traveling to Doha who, after screening, tested positive to ingestion of illicit substances. On Friday, 21st June, one excreted 90 wraps of cocaine, while the other discharged 60 wraps of the same class of substance. No less than 40.3 kg of loud and imported strong strain of cannabis was on Friday, 28th June, recovered in a black Toyota Tacoma truck along Lekki Ikoyi Road when the driver jumped off the vehicle after noticing that NDLEA operatives were on his trail. In Abuja, NDLEA operatives on Friday night disrupted a drug party tagged "Go hard or go home, pick your poison," where 60 suspects comprising 25 males and 35 females were arrested at an apartment in Sun City Estate in the Federal Capital Territory. The raid followed credible intelligence about the drug party. While some people embark on the business of illicit substances, the Anti-Narcotic Agency, NDLEA, says it is ahead and will net perpetrators whenever, wherever. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Tackling sexual exploitation and abuse in society is a priority for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. The Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA, is not letting its guard down in addressing the global menace. This year, the president of DEPOA, Ogohi Musa, is taking the advocacy to the teens within the military barracks to enlighten them on the dangers and red flags to look out for to avoid being lured.
Unwavering support to any victim who reports any form of sexual exploitation or any attempt to be initiated into the use of illicit substances within our domain. And we call upon the appropriate authorities to investigate and address same when any of this menace is reported.
As sexual and gender-based violence, SGBV, inflicts harm on women, girls, men and boys, human rights activists say it is an unacceptable violation which denies unsuspecting victims their dignity.
Please have it that the brain of the teenager continues to develop way beyond the teenage age. So when you consume these substances we're talking about, it will impair your development. It will impair the rate at which your brain is developing.
They used the opportunity to call on parents to be alert as human traffickers devise means to get their approvals to perpetrate the illegal act. The consequences of drug abuse as it affects public health, economic stability and social cohesion hinge on investment in prevention. This was the push that led members of the National Council of Women's Societies, NCWS, to pass the message of prevention with the theme, "The evidence is clear, invest in prevention." Deborah Balabubu reports.
Drug abuse and illicit trafficking represent some of the most pressing challenges in the society as they pose significant health risk, contribute to crime, instability and economic burdens on family and society. Like mothers care for their children, so these mothers have come to reason with the students of Federal College, Science and Technology Ozoro on the dangers of drug abuse.
We came to speak to them as mothers to tell them drug is not good. Stay away from it. No matter the pressure, let your answer at all times be no.
I believe it will be an eye-opener for the students to know that this drug abuse menace is real.
This program is going to create a lot of impact on them positively because there's going to be a great change.
The message passed by the representative of the NDLEA indicates that prevention remains the best measure at curbing the menace, a feat that is not solely the responsibility of government and institutions.
The people we are up against is an organization. They are not sleeping. People are swallowing drugs in their stomach, flying through our airports coming. People are making 40-feet container shipments. You can never stop preaching. Among these children that heard us today, some are going to take that decision. So prevention has been shown to be effective.
At least with this few knowledge, I'll be able to enlighten some of my mates because I found out to them it's just a fun thing they can use and they don't really understand that it's an abuse.
Most of my peer group might think that they're seeking for acceptance, some are seeking for love, some are seeking so that they'll get the enjoyment that they feel like it's their right to receive.
The respondents say the campaign has impacted positively on their lives. In Abuja, Deborah Balagbobo, NTA News.
Another break beckons. Nationwide continues shortly. Thanks for being there. The first naval officer to reach 4-star rank, Admiral Ibrahim Ogohi, is dead. He served as Chief of Defense Staff from 1999 to 2003. The death, which occurred in the early hours of today, Sunday, has been described as a great loss to the military community, Kogi State, Nigeria, and entire humanity. Kogi State Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo and a host of sympathizers were at the National Mosque, Abuja, for prayers for the deceased. Onotu Yakubu reports.
In praying for the repose of the soul of the deceased, Imam Abba Usman seek Allah's forgiveness, mercy, and paradise for the late Admiral Ibrahim Ogohi. Governor Usman Ododo, Minister of Steel Development Shuaibu Audu, colleagues and associates described the deceased as a military professional enigma who broke barriers to pave the way for those who followed in the path.
All through his life, he had been a center of unity for us as the people of Kogi State.
The military institution and defense institution benefited a lot from his wealth of knowledge.
He's somebody that is a very good company to all of us while in service and while in retirement.
God will accept his soul and protect those that he has left behind, including the rest of us who are his children.
To family members, late Admiral Ogohi was a community mobilizer who will forever be remembered as an extraordinary human with unwavering commitment to service to impact humanity.
Has served this country, almost served the world to the best of his capacity.
He gives. He's a giver and he recognizes us.
Admiral Ibrahim Ogohi was until his death the first Chief of Defense Staff with the 4-star general rank and the only holder of that position from the Nigerian Navy in the Fourth Republic. He will be buried at Okura Olafia, Dekina local government in Kogi State. Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
The seventh-day prayer for repose of the soul of the mother-in-law of the Vice President Kashim Shettima, Hajj Miriam Abubakar al-Bashir, was observed in Maiduguri with dignitaries from all walks of life in attendance. Mohammed Goni reports.
Dignitaries and other sympathizers, as well as family members, converge at the multipurpose hall of the government house for the ritual. Led by the Imam Ideni of Borno, Shettima Muhammad Saleh, the seventh-day prayers had in attendance the elder brother of the Vice President Abba Shettima, members of National and State Assemblies from Borno State, Secretary to the State Government, Waziri of Borno, and other traditional title holders, members of Borno State Executive Council and ulama. Also present were members of the State Security Council, permanent secretaries and other top government functionaries, as well as politicians and members of the business community. The congregation prayed Allah to grant her soul eternal rest and the family she had left behind the fortitude to bear the loss. Prayers were also offered for the state and the nation as a whole. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Cheering news for the 2025 Nigerian intending pilgrims, as the Saudi authorities set to spend 300 billion naira for the upgrade of the Nigerian tents at the holy site of Munna. Chairman of the company responsible for providing services to the Nigerian pilgrims at the holy sites, Dr. Ahmed Sindi, made this known while playing host to the NACON and state Hajj officials and the tour operators in Jeddah. Correspondent Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
Munna is a valley located about 8 kilometers southeast of the city of Mecca, covering an area of approximately 20 square kilometers. It is a place where the pilgrims spend 3 to 4 days during the annual pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia, as it has more than 10,000 air-conditioned tents that could accommodate up to 3 million people. It has been, however, observed that over the years, the services being rendered to the Nigerian pilgrims at this holy site are bedeviled with several challenges, especially in the areas of bed spaces and toilet facilities. Now, the company appointed by the Saudi Ministry for Hajj and Umrah Affairs to provide these essential services to the Nigerian pilgrims says these challenges will be addressed squarely ahead of the 2025 Hajj.
We have learned many good lessons.
At an event to mark the completion of the 2024 Hajj season held in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, chairman of the company said $200 million have been set aside for the upgrade of the Nigerian pilgrims' tents at Munna.
We have set aside the money. We are in active discussion. This evening we will be going and meeting with one of the vendors to discuss the exact details.
Truthfully, there's tremendous progress. Truthfully, there are some observations which you admitted. And I think together as partners, we should be looking at the positives and see how we can improve on them and excel even beyond what we imagine we can do.
The company recognizes NACON and the state officials as well as the tour operators for their efforts towards the success of this year's Hajj operation and implores them to do better.
For 2022-2023 operation, we all know that after the Arafah, we all run to their office complaining of the services that they did not render, and we're demanding for our refund. But today, as you all witness, we're here just having a kind of walima because of the success we recorded.
The consensus of all stakeholders here that the 2024 Hajj is a huge success. They are, however, not oblivious of the fact that there is room for improvement. From Jeddah, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Now let's take another break. Nationwide continues shortly.